When Jasmine Crockett calmly unfolded a timeline built entirely from public records, exposing a web of political misconduct, Karoline Leavitt lost her composure and made a call to Capitol Police. What followed became a defining national moment. It wasn't supposed to spark outrage. Just another Thursday night broadcast, a roundtable on government transparency, filmed in a modest Arlington, Texas studio, one moderator, 4 lawmakers. Business as usual. Jasmine had been added to the panel at the last minute, filling in for a colleague. She didn't arrive with a speech. Just her trademark folder, color-coded highlighters, and a mind sharp as a scalpel. Under fluorescent lights, moderator Paul Linfield, a soft-spoken man in a gray suit with a reputation for interrupting female guests more than male ones, began the show with a tired line. "Let's keep it energetic, but respectful." Jasmine didn't need the cue. She adjusted her mic, glanced at her notes, and looked straight into the camera. Transparency isn't just a buzzword. It's a promise. The government makes to the people. 2 seats down, Karoline let out a theatrical sigh. The mic picked it up. C-SPAN wasn't built for drama, but something shifted. Jasmine didn't raise her voice. She opened a slim folder, filled with names, dates, and public, but ignored, government records. March 12th, she began. An internal memo from the office of presidential scheduling notes a private meeting with 3 unidentified energy executives, not listed in official visitor logs. That meeting happened hours before a rollback on environmental penalties. Karoline stiffened. "Are you suggesting corruption at the executive level?" Jasmine didn't flinch. "I'm reading from public records." Paul, the moderator, interrupted nervously. "Congresswoman Crockett, are you making an accusation?" "I'm presenting facts. They speak for themselves." The camera lingered on Karoline, capturing the twitch in her jaw, her fingers tightening around a pen. She wasn't losing the argument. She was losing control of the narrative. Jasmine wasn't attacking. She was letting the truth sit, raw, unembellished. Jasmine cited a second document, policy reversals tracked against campaign donations. Her voice steady, clinical, yet resolute. "You're playing with fire," Karoline snapped. Jasmine finally looked her way. "No," she replied. "I'm just telling the truth. And if that sets something on fire, maybe it needed to burn." Silence. The studio fell still. Then, "We'll take a short break," Paul said, voice strained. The show cut to commercial. Inside the studio, chaos. Karoline lunged at Jasmine. "You just aired sensitive material live. That's a crime." Jasmine stayed seated. "Nothing I said was classified. Check the Federal Register." Karoline stormed out, phone already at her ear. "Yes, Capitol Police. I need to report a national security threat." Even the control room froze. Jasmine watched her leave. "This is what happens now," she said quietly. "This is what telling the truth gets you." Viewers at home only saw the feed cut, then a jarring tire commercial. Producers scrambled. Legal was on hold. Paul paced. Interns retrieved Jasmine's papers. "Do you want these back?" one asked. "No," she replied. "Let them read them." 10 minutes later, Karoline re-entered, face flushed. "You'll regret this." Jasmine stood. "And you'll regret trying to use the police to cover up the truth." Paul stepped in, pleading. "We still have time for the segment. You expect me to share a stage with someone who called the cops on me for quoting public records?" Silence. The show's producer, Alondra Greer, cut in. "We're ending the segment. Phones are lighting up. No more risks." She turned to Jasmine. "We'll have someone walk you to your car, just in case." Jasmine laughed, dry. "Am I the threat, or is she?" Outside, reporters gathered. A junior affiliate streamed live. "We're trying to confirm what caused the abrupt broadcast cut." Jasmine said nothing, got in her car. Her phone buzzed. Noel Reyes, her chief of staff. "Capitol Police want a voluntary interview. Standard procedure," But the message is clear. I quoted records, Jasmine said. Let them dig. It's all public. That's not what matters, Noel replied. What matters is who you embarrassed. Online, the clip exploded. A freelance producer had recorded the show and posted it within minutes. By midnight, Jacker Sheer Documents was trending. Meanwhile, Karoline issued a blistering statement accusing Jasmine of endangering national trust. But fact-checkers from Politico and Reuters dismantled it by sunrise. Every memo Jasmine cited? Public. Every document? Verifiable. No leaks. Just inconvenient truth. Noel blasted those fact-checks to every newsroom. Let the record speak. Jasmine stayed silent. But silence spoke louder. TikTok creators dissected Karoline's body language. This is the moment spin meets truth, one caption read. Even conservative voices felt the heat. Senator Glenn Royan tweeted, "Weaponizing police against a colleague for citing open records is an overstep." 100,000 likes in hours. Karoline doubled down on a podcast. It's not the facts. It's how they were framed. The host nodded. You know how they are. Meanwhile, Jasmine arrived at her Capitol Hill office, passing a swarm of reporters. Inside, Noel handed her a folder, legal's preliminary memo. They recommend we go on the offensive. She looked out the window. She thought I'd fold. I'm from South Dallas. I've survived worse than a white woman calling 911 with shaky hands. She met with her legal team. Her attorney, Sandra Milton, reviewed the folder. Not one document is classified. You're clean. Jasmine nodded. Let them try. Capitol Police issued a statement. No criminal probe at this time. The vagueness stirred more questions. Then came the CBS panel. Retired Colonel Richard Ames, former intelligence officer, didn't mince words. Nothing she said was classified. More Americans should know what she exposed. The clip spread like wildfire. Noel leaned against her office door. If Karoline hadn't tried to shut you up, this would have gone unnoticed. Exactly, Jasmine replied. That's what they're afraid of. She stood. Let's write a statement. They worked all night, drafting, sharpening, grounding each line in law and facts. But before releasing it, Jasmine made a private call to Amari Denson, an investigative journalist in Columbus, Ohio. Years ago, they'd met at a panel. Jasmine trusted her. Amari didn't chase virality. She chased truth. There's something you need to see, Jasmine said. An hour later, Amari was sitting on Jasmine's office floor, legal pad in hand, laptop open. Between them, Jasmine's folder, dog-eared, highlighted. Amari read in silence, tracing dates with her fingers. You said all of this live? Jasmine nodded, and Karoline called the cops on you for it. Jasmine offered a dry smile. Apparently the truth is dangerous again. Amari leaned back. I'm writing the whole story. No spin, no takes. Just every document, where it came from, who ignored it, and who benefited. That's why I called you, Jasmine said. This was never about me. It's about what they didn't want noticed. Amari's piece wasn't flashy. It wasn't fast. It was methodical journalism. A day later, she published what Jasmine Crockett actually said. 1,000 words. Every document cited, linked, sourced, available for public review. It didn't shout, it proved, and the internet roared. One reader commented, "This clip should be required viewing in every government class across the country." Another wrote, "Karoline did the one thing you never do. She tried to silence the wrong woman using the right truth. And now it's everywhere." Teachers shared it. A civics instructor in Des Moines live-streamed her students breaking it down, paragraph by paragraph. Meanwhile, Karoline's team scrambled. They hadn't expected silence, not from Jasmine, and certainly not the kind of silence that made more noise than any speech could. That afternoon, Jasmine dropped a formal statement, just under 2 pages. No fireworks, No filters. Just clarity. I read what was already public. I didn't hack anything. I didn't expose anything. I reminded the public of what belongs to them. If that's dangerous, then we've already lost the thread of democracy. Those closing lines were sharper than any rebuttal. When women like me, black, outspoken, and unapologetically factual, speak plainly, people don't meet us with evidence. They meet us with sirens, but facts don't panic. They don't vanish when you call the cops. By nightfall, the tide was turning. Even networks that normally carried water for Karoline began adjusting tone. A libertarian blog posted, "I rarely side with Crockett, but the receipts check out." If this was a stunt, it backfired. Fox News did a segment. Was Karoline's response an overstep? Jasmine wasn't watching. She wasn't building a brand. She was building clarity. That night, in a quiet apartment lit by a desk lamp, she told her aide, Noel, "They're twisting this into identity politics. Like I'm some viral moment with attitude." "You're not," Noel replied. "I know, but I didn't come here for a soundbite. I came here to leave a trail." Outside, DC kept spinning, fast, brutal, indifferent. But Jasmine's silence had left a scar, a kind you can't tweet away. By Saturday, the West Wing was in triage mode. President Trump's communications team huddled behind a locked door. No phones, no leaks, just crisis mitigation. What started as a studio brawl was now a credibility crisis. Not because Jasmine shouted, because she didn't. She never raised her voice, one aide whispered after rewatching the clip. "She didn't need to," another said. That's what rattled people. She sounded normal. Across the lawn in the Eisenhower building, senior officials stared at polling. Jasmine's favorability had jumped 12 points, most of it from independents and undecided middle-aged voters, the same ones supposed to hate disruption. But Jasmine hadn't looked disruptive. She looked calm, focused. Worse, for them, she looked right. Interview requests came flying in, 60 Minutes, CNN, even the BBC. Jasmine declined everyone. Instead, she flew to Akron, Ohio to speak in a middle school gym. No lights, just her and a wired mic. A woman raised her hand. "I'm not political. I didn't vote for you. But I saw your broadcast. Why are they scared of people reading what's public?" Jasmine answered, "Because when we read for ourselves, we stop relying on those who profit from keeping us confused." That clip, viral in hours. Noel texted, "Putting that on a billboard." In D.C., Karoline panicked. She doubled down on a podcast accusing Jasmine of twisting facts to derail the administration. But resistance was cracking. 2 GOP reps publicly questioned calling Capitol Police. Behind closed doors, others whispered regret. In Jasmine's office, morale spiked. Someone joked they should start teaching FOIA workshops. The media called it the Crockett Ripple. But Jasmine wasn't celebrating. "This isn't over," she told Noel. "They haven't fired their next shot yet." "You think Trump will speak?" "He'll wait for a script. But yes." And he did. Monday morning, seated behind the resolute desk, flags flanking him, Trump addressed the press. There are members of Congress spreading misinformation. Dangerous stuff. Pretending they know more than they do. It's dishonest. Very sad. He didn't say her name. He didn't have to. Twitter did the math. A viral split screen showed Jasmine calmly reading from a document and Trump waving away. Dishonest people. The visual? Damning. Even Peter Lang, a conservative columnist, wrote, "If the truth makes you uncomfortable, maybe you're not fit for power." In her office, Jasmine read the alert, barely reacted. "He's baiting." "Me," she said. "What will you do?" "I'll respond, but on my terms." And she did. The next morning, in a low-profile community center in Bethesda, she walked to a mic. No entourage, no script, no podium, just a black-and-white sign behind her. Statement from Repair Jasmine Crockett. The room was packed. Reporters lined the walls. Students, locals, independent bloggers. "I won't speak long," she said, "but I will speak clearly." Silence. What happened last week wasn't drama. It wasn't politics. It was an attempt to recast the truth as threat. She paused. "Let the weight hang. I quoted public documents, I spoke plainly, and for that law enforcement was summoned." Camera shutters snapped in unison. "Facts aren't threats. They're not dangerous. What is dangerous is the speed with which someone used power to suppress clarity." Her voice never rose. "I don't care if you disagree with me politically. I care that public knowledge became a cause for police intervention." She steadied herself. "If I can't read a government document funded by your tax dollars, what does that say about the nation we claim to be?" The room leaned in. "I'm not apologizing. I'm not retreating. And I'm not letting discomfort rewrite reality." Then came the moment. "If quoting the truth gets the cops called on me, maybe we should be asking why you're so afraid of documents you signed." You could feel the air shift, she added. "They've called me abrasive, loud, aggressive, but never irrelevant, never wrong, and never silent." Then she left. No Q&A, no spin, just a nod and a quiet exit. Within an hour, the clip lit up every feed. By nightfall, think pieces were rolling in. But Jasmine didn't go home. She met with 2 progressive colleagues. No PR tour, no grandstanding. They were drafting something real, the White House noticed. And they didn't stay subtle. Tuesday at 6:02 a.m., a statement dropped, preserving national unity amid misinformation. It didn't name Jasmine. It didn't have to. It accused unnamed lawmakers of endangering national security narratives. That phrase raised alarms. Jasmine read the bulletin en route to a breakfast meeting. Noel scanned it beside her. "They're doubling down." "They have to," she said. "The story's too fragile to let facts in." By 1 p.m., a small paper in Pennsylvania leaked an internal White House memo, dated 2 days after Jasmine's speech. The key line: "The concern lies not in illegality, but in narrative disruption caused by public documentation." Translation: she was right, and that terrified them. Her team read the memo together. Said held it like evidence. "So, she didn't break the law," Noel said. "Nope," Jasmine replied, "but I disrupted the script." That night, Jasmine posted a simple video. Just her. No staff, no edits. "I didn't leak anything. I didn't lie. I read documents you could have read too." The fact that caused chaos? That says more about them than me? Don't be afraid to learn. You don't need a degree to understand what's yours. Under 2 minutes. By morning, 2.5 million views. Karoline? Silent. One generic tweet about public safety, no follow-up, no apology. But something deeper was breaking. Voicemails, thousands. Emails from both red states and blue ones. "I don't follow politics, but this felt wrong." "I don't like your politics, but I like that you didn't flinch." She read one out loud, from a woman in Montana who hadn't voted since 2008. "I registered again, not for your party, for your spine." At a Missouri town hall, a Republican voter said, "I didn't vote for her, didn't know her. But if reading a memo's a crime, the issue isn't her." Applause. Not wild, but honest. The movement wasn't. Cable-born. It came from teachers, grocery clerks, veterans, students. By Saturday, 3,000 people rallied at the original venue. Signs said, "Reading isn't rebellion. Truth is public." Jasmine didn't attend. She didn't want it to become about her, but she watched the live stream. So did the West Wing. One aide told senior staff, "She's become the face of something we can't diffuse." That week, she started drafting legislation. Whistleblower protections, digital archives of public records, limits on inter-member law enforcement calls. "This isn't retaliation," she told staff. "It's prevention." Outside, reporters waited. "No statement today," she said. Just wanted you to know. We're introducing a bill. What kind? Someone asked. One that makes what happened to me impossible to repeat. Will you file charges? No. I'm doing her job for her. That clip went viral, too. Journalists called it measured. Legal scholars called it smart. A Gen Z TikToker said, she didn't just clap back, she changed the rules. Approval rose. But something bigger happened. Expectations shifted. In an age where rage gets clicks, Jasmine Crockett proved something quieter. You don't need to scream when the truth is loud enough on its own. At week's end, she visited a high school in Detroit. A student asked, "How do you stay calm when people lie about you?" Jasmine smiled. Because truth doesn't ask for permission, it just waits for someone brave enough to say it out loud. As she and Noel walked to the car, he asked, "You think people will remember this?" "Not every detail," she said, "but they'll remember how it felt. And next time someone like me speaks up, they'll expect better." No fanfare, no theatrics. Just a woman who didn't flinch, and that was more than enough.